Testing is very important in the water field and also the wastewater in the state lab. We are certified by the state, and each plant has a permit that's required with specific limits that we must exceed. Some of them we don't want it to exceed, and that's why we test different parameters. Some of the tests that we test here in the lab are bacteria analysis. We run a bacteria sample on the drinking water. We may check for alkalinity, also we may check for chlorine, pH, and also metals analysis. The reason we run a bacteria analysis is to make sure there's no coliform present in the drinking water. Like E. coli is a bacteria that's present in water, and it can make you very sick. Also, you want to check the pH, because the pH plays a very important in drinking water. Sometimes we get customers who call with a complaint. Depending on the nature of that complaint, we have a sampler who may go out and we can check the chlorine, we can check the pH, we also can check the turbidity of the water. Most of the tests, the sampler actually go out in the home and collects the sample at the home, and the sample is brought back to the lab. Most of the parameters that we run on the sample is done in-house. Sometimes we do get customers requiring a business sample. A lot of the businesses want to just check the chlorine level just to see what the chlorine's looking like. And also we do a metals analysis, which is collected from offices or home, and we do collect it from a faucet, and we go out and collect the sample and it's brought back to the lab. On metal analysis, we can run a variety of metals. We check for like iron, zinc, manganese, aluminum, sodium, calcium, hardness, things like that. We check and we run the sample. We either run it on a graphite furnace or a flame furnace. Sometimes we may have a customer who calls and says, I've got a brown color in my water, or a customer may say the water just tastes funny, or some customers may call and say that my water is causing itchy skin or maybe hard or soft. So those are the areas that we look at to check far as the sample itself. We are certified by the state, and each month we collect 120 samples, and we collect those samples throughout the city of Fayetteville, and we have a sampler who goes out and he just takes those samples from different locations, and he brings the sample back to the lab and we run bacteria analysis on it. And depending on the customers who calls with the complaints, that's just done on a first come first served basis. If the customer calls, then we go out to the home. I wanted to stay in a field that I could work with my science degree, which is biology, minor environmental. So I love working in this field, and also I enjoy working to make sure the water quality is safe for our customers to have safe water. Here in the lab we have a supervisor, we also have a chemist, and then we have 3 lab analysts, and then we also have a lab tech. Our lab tech is the one who responds to most of the complaints and also does the sampling for the lab. The lab analysts, we stay in the lab when we run bacteria analysis on drinking water. We also do some other parameters that's required in the lab. Lab tech is you have to have some experience in the bacteria or in the biology field. And usually you're required to have a certification, bacteria analysis certification. Also the lab analyst is required to have a grade 1 wastewater license, and also we're required to have a wastewater lab license also. But the supervisor also has a higher grade level, and also the chemist. A lot of people may not understand that we do water quality parameters twice a year, and on that water quality parameters, we check different parameters that's required by the state, and each year we publish a report, and that report determines all the levels that we found on our water quality testing. If you want to learn more about your drinking water, you could contact PWC regarding the water quality parameters, and these are sent in the mail, and they have the different areas that we test, and these are the limits that we found in our water. And if there's any further questions, you could contact the PWC Lab.